Hi, everybody. Welcome back to 3 to the 4th podcast. I'm Will.
And I'm Bailey.
And this week we are going to talk about the baseball team and hopefully the softball team if we have enough time. Because they're both have a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yes.
But first of all, we just want to thank you guys for the amazing amount of support that was tossed at us after our first episode. I mean, like we said, we had no plans to record until about May 2nd when we got out of school. But,
yeah.
I mean, the response was just overwhelming. And we're like, we can't just leave you guys waiting.
I texted Will. I was like, hey, we need a podcast episode. I had so many people texting me alone. They're like, this is great. Like, I love this. Like, y'all doing an amazing job. Keep it up. And I was just like, we got to do more episodes. Like, yeah. Why not? Like, we don't want to wait 2 weeks. We can have enough content. We got baseball. Baseball's doing great. Softball's doing great. Like, let's hit it up.
Yeah. Definitely. So we wanted to just, throw in another episode. When we had a blast,
Yes.
just starting this whole thing up and really getting going. We've had so much fun doing this. So we just figured, why the heck not? Finals can wait. Academics come second when it comes to App State and Boone sports. So today we're going to look at the baseball team. It's been, it's been picking up a little bit.
Yeah, we've been doing better.
And if we're looking at our stats here, I got my trusty stat sheet. If we're looking at our stats here, right now baseball sits at an overall record of 13-15, so losing record.
Yeah. But
we sit at a conference record of 6-3.
So I mean, we're first in the East, which is great. I mean, Georgia Southern's behind us; they're 7-5 in Sun Belt. But if the problem is we're getting destroyed out of conference,
mm-hmm.
You look at Georgia Southern; they're 7-5, we're 6-3. We have an overall better record in the conference, but they have a winning record. They're 19-13 compared to 13-15.
Yeah.
It's kind of like. What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would love to play only the Sun Belt because that means we'd be first in the Sun Belt and be good. But also, I'd like to play obviously and be better against higher competition and different competition.
You look at South Alabama in third; they're 5-4 in the conference, but they're 17-13 in out of conference play, and we're sitting here at 13-15, number one in our division. But you look at the other outside records, and I mean. They have the same amount of losses as we have wins. I mean, that's not good,
No.
for us with a losing record. But look at our Sun Belt series here. We have been killing it in the Sun Belt series. We swept Arkansas State 25 to 8 point differential.
Which is beautiful. I love that. That's if we could just keep that for every series, we'd be the best team in the league.
Georgia State was a little closer, 2-1, with a 26 to 24 point differential. And then you have Georgia Southern, where we lost 1-2 for the 3-game series, and we lost to a 6 to 14 differential. But then come down, and look at Wake Forest. Kermit Smith had his most impressive win last season when we beat the number 24 Wake Forest. We beat them. It was his first ranked P5 win. We beat them 11-9.
Yeah, which is that was a great game overall. But to win against a ranked team in baseball, when obviously App gets its attention for football, and hopefully not basketball. I mean, we made the dance and all that, but when we don't even have attention towards program, we beat a team like that. That's amazing. It's so great for the program.
And that's great. But then this was right before COVID canceled our season.
Yeah.
So you're coming in with basically the same amount of players, same general team, along with Wake Forest, and we beat them at 24. But now you look at our 2 games that we had them against this season. Our most recent conference game was a 0-12 loss to Wake Forest, and then we lost them again 7-15 earlier in the season. And we look at our other ones. We lost 5-15 to UNCC, who's now ranked 21. We lost a 3-game series to ECU with a differential of 6-28. They were ranked 17 when we played them, and now they're ranked 9.
So I'll give a little slack on that because playing the 17th and 9th ranked team while you're unranked is, obviously.
Yeah,
but as far as UNCW, it's we lost a 3-game series with a differential of 3-17. We scored 3 runs in 3 games. 3 runs
in 3 games.
Which isn't the best. And then we let 17 runs in a game.
Yeah. And you look at NC State, and we lost 2-13. So it's weird because you look at the 2020 season. We came off before COVID got canceled. We came off 11-6, and it really seemed like baseball was kind of coming on their comeback. We look at the previous records. Let's go back a little bit. Ooh. 2019 we were 22-31. 2018 we were 18-36. 2017 we were 19-36, and 2016 we were 18-36. So from 2018 to 2016. Rough. That was a rough 3-year stretch when you have basically the same record dropping 36 games each time. Then you look at 2019, 22-31, 2020, 11-6. We don't really know where that would have gone.
Yeah.
Had it not been canceled COVID.
We could have been conference champions if COVID didn't happen. We don't know. We could be on the up, but
now it looks like we are really not we're falling back into where we were. And again, it's like, for App State, obviously we expect to do great in Sun Belt play for football at least. Football we expect to do great in Sun Belt play, and the out-of-conference games is where we really, really hope we can make statements. So in baseball, do we say it's okay to drop these games right now while our program is developing still, or is it like, these are games that we truthfully need to make a statement because these are the games that, are going to bring recruit attention and bring, national attention, just fan attention to baseball that not a lot of people have.
Yeah, so I think overall it's like, we had bad records. I mean, it's a new coach getting a new program from recruits from an old staff. So, that makes sense that we're dropping the first 3 seasons. And then I feel like with COVID and we going 11-6 before the season got canceled, it's like, wow, that's a great season. We could have been so good. We don't know. It's like a bunch of what ifs.
And knocking off 24 Wake Forest
exactly.
Season as well.
We could have been ranked last year. We don't know. It depends on how we played. And I feel like partially the season is because of COVID, but also maybe just last year was like a Cinderella story.
Yeah, maybe.
We don't know. COVID did mess up a lot of things, like anything we don't know. But I do think it's worth noting that it's been, this is the 6th season for Kermit?
Yeah, he was named head coach in 2016.
Yeah. So I think that having that first 4-year record all losing and then having a winning record that gets canceled kind of gives you some flack. But then going back to losing, it's like, when do you get on the hot seat? Any coach after 6 years, if they only have one winning season, even though maybe a shortened season, is easily on the hot seat or already out.
I mean, if you're sitting at 33% record, your first 3 years, immediately I'm thinking he's already on the hot seat. You have, personally, I'd say this is his last year to make a statement.
I would say so, and maybe if anything, because of COVID, give him another year, see what he does with that with his recruits, and then be like, oh, I'm sorry, we're going to have to let you go and find a new coach. Or find a new coach and see, just what can you do? I wouldn't say completely get rid of him this year. I would say give him another chance next year just to see, but he's on the hot seat. He's sitting on the edge of the seat. If he falls off, he's done.
I agree. I mean, since Kermit Smith has come in, he's at a 101 to 160 record. That's been his total record. Recorded his first ranked Power 5 win in 2020, beat Wake Forest. They ended the COVID season of 2020 with a 6-game win streak to finish off the year, which was the first 6-game win streak since 2012. So pretty impressive, but also the first time App State was 5 games over 500 since 2013. That sucks.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Also, it was earlier this season, we won our first game of the season. That was the first time we started 1-0 since 2012 or 2013.
Yeah.
The fact that we never won our first game of the season since then until this year, it's what happens? How do you drop that every single year? And
also his App State baseball bio, chose to use this as a bragging point, which I don't really think is a bragging point. In his first 45 Sun Belt games, first 45, most important games your first couple seasons, he won 9 of them. He went 9 for 45.
Against the Sun Belt.
In his first 45 games. In the next 44, he's gone 21 cents. But he's still shooting under 500 for that. And then you look in 2019, where we finished, if you give me a sec, in 2019 we finished 22-31. In conference play, we finished 13-16. And that 13 wins in conference play was a program record. We set a program record for conference wins with a losing conference record.
And they play 50 games a season.
Yeah, so that's just...
That means we basically won 4 seasons, we swept 4 season series if it's a 3-game series.
Yeah, basically.
We only won 4 series. And they play a lot of those.
Yeah. And in his first year, the team posted the most home runs and drawn walks since 2012. That's a pretty cool stat.
Which is a great stat. Now, it begs the question with all this. Is it Kermit or is it our recruiting? Because think about it. Obviously there's something wrong. Whether it is, obviously the baseball coach doesn't sometimes as much stuff as football coaches, but also they still part of recruiting and part of all this stuff. So is it we're recruiting the wrong guys? Is it we're managing the game wrong, pulling the pitcher too early, putting different order, wrong order? What is going on? What is going on that causes us to drop 36 games in first 3 years, and then once he gets his guys that he wanted, essentially, he got a little better, but still nothing that's outrageously better.
And I think it just kind of raises the question of, for a fairly low and a fairly underperforming baseball program, as we've seen, it's how much leeway do you give? Obviously he's not doing as bad as the previous teams and seasons have been.
Who has gotten better.
But it's like, you've been the coach for 6 years. And let's, if you will, let us take a look at his D2 resume. Very, very impressive.
He looks
D2
like a
resume.
Hall of Fame coach
yeah,
in D2.
in D2. Before he came to App State, he coached at Lander and Belmont Abbey. At Belmont Abbey, he recorded 9 winning seasons in his last 10 seasons, just overall at Lander and Belmont Abbey.
Yeah.
In his last 10 seasons, D2 coach. And then he has yet to set one, except in the 2020 COVID season. He has yet to set a winning season in D1.
As a full season.
As a full season, correct. He was the winningest coach in program history at Lander. He advanced to the D2 World Series twice in his last 3 seasons and finished the 2016 season before he came in ranked 3rd. He was the 2014 PBC Coach of the Year and the Atlantic Region Coach of the Year. Like, Belmont Abbey, he was also the winningest head coach.
Yeah, like, if I'm looking at that guy's, like, obviously I'm not blaming, like, App for hiring him.
No.
I would have hired him. Like,
beautiful resume.
Like,
My
it's a
gosh.
beautiful resume. And now maybe he just got unlucky with the program. Like, maybe if he does get fired next year or this year or whatever, he joins another program and goes off. Maybe it's just weird. Like, I mean, we don't know. But sports are different. Everything's weird. But, being the winningest coach, winning 2 conference championships, a 2009 tournament championship, and a 2009 Southeast Regional Championship, as well as the World Series appearance, and named the South Atlantic Region Coach of the Year.
I mean, that's crazy. I'm sitting here, and when we were doing our research for this, I'm sitting here and I was like, this guy's insane. He had crazy D2 record. And obviously, D2 sports is going to be a hell of a lot different from D1.
Yeah.
But when you look like you're arguably, again, like a Hall of Fame coach in D2, you got to have a little bit of pullover into D1.
Yeah, like, there's got to be something.
It's obviously, and here's the thing, and again, it's like we're not playing in it seems to be a tough division if we're first in the Sun Belt right now.
I would say we're not first.
Or Sun Belt East.
Yeah, Sun Belt East is obviously the best Sun Belt. Like, I think I saw a stat the other day where it was like either Georgia Southern or South Alabama would be first in the West. Like, it's not like the East is tough, but like still Sun Belt's pretty weak. Like overall, I mean, at least in conference play. But also we need is it just we can only play conference teams?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, where do you draw the line of, you're doing great and, just get to the Sun Belt tournament, that's it? I mean, it's like, where do you... I find it very weird, if you have a losing season, but, you're doing great in your conference play, and really conference play is what matters because nothing else affects you. So it's like, it's
Like, you take the conference, like, being first in your, division, that's great. Like, you're first in your division, you hopefully get a conference championship, but also, you look at your other record, and you're dropping... Like, first of all, we lost to Wake 2 games, an unranked Wake this year. In 2 games, we essentially lost 27-7.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we got runs on the board, but is pitching the problem? Because if you look back at our other stats, we have so many runs allowed compared to what we had. Like, obviously, baseball scores differentiate all the time. Like, some people win games 1-0, some people win games 12-13, 12-11. Like, it's like, but is it pitching? Because it's always, we're averaging, we're getting good scores for the most part. Like, we're getting probably 3 or 4 runs a game, which isn't the best, but it's still something.
But it's we come off of Wake Forest. Our most recent non-conference game when we dropped it 0-12. Yeah. I mean, you're allowing 12 runs and not hitting 1. I mean, that's bad.
12 runs alone is just not really the best pitching, but and then so 3 games you have 17 to UNCW, 15 to UNCC. So I mean, they only UNCC only scored 5 runs in the game, which not bad. It's pretty average. So it's is it runs? Is it pitching?
Yeah.
And obviously against Wake it's been pitching, and against ECU is definitely pitching. 28 runs in 3 games. That's crazy. But also, let's see, 6 runs scored in 3 games. That's 2 runs per game. That wouldn't beat any of these teams.
No, it wouldn't. I mean, you're looking at these other teams, and no, it would not beat any of these teams. But I kind of get it to a point. I mean, we're not a baseball school, obviously.
No, we aren't.
And as the stats show, we are not a baseball school.
We're a football school.
Yeah.
Or now basketball, too.
And so it really just goes to show, it's I mean, do we blame the school for not really making a move? Or, do we blame our AD for not really making a move and firing him? I mean, if you're doing good in conference play, you're getting your name out there by playing these I mean, we play, 2 ranked teams this year. It's you're kind of getting your name out there, trying to see what your boys can do. And again, you're winning your conference play. So it's I get the point of, yes, he's on the hot seat, but to a sense, it's he's not.
Yeah, I don't think you can completely blame the school. I wouldn't blame the AD because he's getting the program out there. Which I'd rather get the program out there than play Lenore Ryan and Elise McCray all the time, even though they're D2.
Yeah,
it's like,
NCAA and stuff like that.
I'd rather play stronger teams in the first place. Like, that's how App got good.
Yeah.
We played Michigan in 2007 as an FCS team.
Yeah.
And now look where we are. And I can guarantee you where we are now is because we at least played Michigan.
And no coach is gonna, no athletic director is gonna bat an eye if you lose to like the number one team in the nation.
Especially the money you get. It's like the trade-offs are great for your program. So I don't blame the AD and the program or whoever does scheduling on that. It's more like, what can we do recruitment-wise to be able to actually challenge those teams and beat those teams? Like, for example, we beat UNC last year. We beat South Carolina last year. Like, we could have done that without playing better teams earlier, but then we also needed good recruitment. Yeah. And we already were an amazing school of football anyway. So it's like...
And coming back to Kermit, one of the things that angered me was after coming off our 0-12 loss, he said in his press conference that there was going to be some positive things to look at coming from an 0-12 loss. Unless you are Carver Bible College getting crushed by a D1 team and you're like D3 club collegiate school like level basketball team, like, yes, then there's good stuff to look at. But not when you're a D1 baseball team. You can't drop an 0-12 game to an unranked team and say, yeah, there's some good things we can look at. If it was like 5-3 or something like that and it was close and you looked good, then yeah, that's a moral victory. But in no way or sense do you look at a 0-12 loss and say, there's some good things that come out of this.
Like, you can't look at pitching and say they did a good job.
Yeah.
Because they allowed over a run an inning. You can't look at batting and say they did a good job because they have, no runs scored.
Yeah.
Like, I guess there were some good defensive plays, if anything, but, like, even then, you don't say that about a team, like a game that you lost 12-0. Like,
to an unranked team. That's my thing. Like, if you're playing, we played, basketball played Tennessee this year. Yeah. Like, ranked Tennessee, one of the best teams in, NCAA this year. Like, yeah, then you can say there's some good stuff. You can look at some stuff when you're like a number 5 team or 7 or 11 or whenever we played them. But you're playing an unranked Wake Forest, who we beat last year when they were ranked.
When they were ranked.
It was like, you cannot look at me and say that there are good things to come out of this. I mean, obviously there's good stuff to come out of every game, but you can't drop an 0-12 game to an unranked, out-of-conference team and say, this is good, we can look at this. Yeah, so I think it's a complicated situation of whether or not Kermit Smith is on the hot seat.
Yeah, I think, obviously, it's like we want y'all to, interact with us too. Like, once this episode goes out, we're going to tell us, what do y'all think? Because we want to know. But, for me, after that game, if I was a coach, I'd be like, say something, oh yeah, we lost, we know we lost 12-0, we're going to work on some things, we're going to get back in the shop, we're not going to let this get us down, but we're also not saying, oh yeah, we played a positive game, we were just positive things about it. I can guarantee you UNC did not look at us beating them last year and be like, there's some positive things that we can look at.
It definitely would not be the other way around. And again, it's like, this was not an anomaly in out-of-conference play. We have, again, we lost 7-15 against Wake Forest. Mm-hmm. We lost by 10 points to UNCC. We lost 3-17 in our 3-game series to UNCW, and 6-28 at ECU, and then 2-13 at NC State. This is not an anomaly. This 0-12, crazy blowout games is not an anomaly for Kermit Smith and this baseball team.
It's been current. This year, it's been what is going on?
Yeah.
Let us know what y'all think. Is Kermit on the hot seat? Should he be gone now? Should he be gone at the end of the season? Should he give it one more year? What do y'all think? Now, I think we should move to a more positive note because obviously we've been talking about this. So, softball. Softball program has turned it around. Softball is on a 9-game win streak right now. They're 7-2 at home. They're 20-10 overall, and they're 4-5 in conference. We're 6th in the Sun Belt, which is not as great as baseball, but also we're 20-10. We have, a 66% winning? That's amazing. But also, the reason we're not at first in the Sun Belt is because Louisiana is 14-1.
Yeah, on a 17-game win streak.
The Sun Belt softball...
Somehow.
Softball runs through the Sun Belt. Softball runs through the Sun Belt.
Yeah, and here's what I think is funny. It's because you have this parallel of baseball with a losing record, 13-15, but they're 6-3 in conference play. Then you have softball, who's 20-10, but they're 4-5 in conference play.
It's what is it?
And they're they just broke a 9-game win streak currently.
Yeah.
On a 9-game win streak. They went from, if I can do math, they went from 11-10 to 20-10. 9-game win streak. Program history right there. So Congratulations, ladies. Great job. But let's look at their Sun Belt series that they have. So we lost a 3-game series to South Alabama with a differential of 4-12. Lost a 2-game series to Texas State with a differential of 6-12. Had 3-game series with Georgia State, 2 of which was canceled, but we won the first game 6-5. Then we won a 3-game series to ULM with a differential of 10-2. So we're holding our own in the Sun Belt.
Yeah,
and the really impressive conference play, the really impressive play comes from out of conference.
Yeah, which can't say the same for baseball, but it's like they either sweep every series or split the series.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just unheard of. Like, that's just like dominant team outside the conference. So it's like, obviously the Sun Belt's strong in softball. Like, you can't be 20-10 and be 6th in the Sun Belt with like 6th in your division without being in a good division.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be like the AL East, for example. Like the Orioles being 20-10, but you have Red Sox, Yankees, Tampa Bay, and all those teams above them because they're a lot better. But the Orioles wouldn't be as bad.
Yeah. And now both our baseball and our softball program are going through rebuilds, but right now the softball team is having a much better rebuild, and it's really to the credit of the new hired head coach who we hired in 2017. Her name is Shelly Herner, I believe. Sorry, Shelly, if you're listening. I doubt it, but I pronounced her name wrong. So let's look at these previous series. So she came on in 2017. Sorry, I lied. 2018. Came on in 2018. Her first season, 17-35 with a 4-20 conference record. So I'd be like, not good. But in 2019, she went 31-25 with a 13-13 conference record.
That's a crazy turnaround in 1 year.
In 1 year. And then in 2020, in the COVID canceled season, went 13-9 with a 1-2 conference record. But now she's looking at 20-10 with a 4-5 conference record. So since she dropped, her 17-35 season in her first season, she's been getting winning records. And you look at 2017, she came off the previous coach the season before we hired Shelly. The team went 14-34 with a 2-22 conference record.
That's abysmal.
So we are looking at a complete, utter turnaround from Shelly Herner right now.
Here's the thing. Pretty much the same team, maybe she new recruits. She got 3 more wins than the coach Poor in her first year. That's amazing. And then immediately increases it by 14 wins the next year.
Mm-hmm. She came off 2018, started her first year 17-35. She's on 64-44 steps. So, just absolute domination. Look at some stuff here. In 2019, she posted the best record since 2014 and tied the record for most wins in a season with 31. And then they tied the win total. With the 2013 team that won the Southern Conference title that year. They started Sun Belt play 8-1 in 2019. They went to the Sun Belt tournament as the 5th place team, lost to ULM. But because of that turnaround, they were invited to the National Invitational Softball Championship, and they lost 2 games to Rutgers and George Washington. But this was App Softball's first ever postseason appearance,
which is great.
Great, and then to add a cherry on top, at the end of the 2019 season, senior Haley Stewart was drafted 30th overall in the American Softball Association draft, the first player in program history to be drafted.
It's amazing, 30th overall. I don't know exactly how many rounds or picks per whatever, but. Either way,
you're one of the best 30 players in that draft, so.
Which is crazy. Think about think about who in other sports who the 30 best player best player in the draft is, or 30 best pick per
30 in any sport is first round.
Think about it. Lamar Jackson was drafted 32nd.
Yeah,
so overall she's
better than Lamar Jackson.
That's exactly what I'm saying. She's better than Lamar Jackson. Watch out, Ravens.
And also Shelly, is that her? Yes, Shelly. Yes, also Shelly Herner has all helped boost team GPA, and also the team came in 6th for community service hours in 2019 nationally for softball.
Crazy.
They worked with I believe it was a hunger coalition here in Boone. But they came in 6th for national service. So she seems to be a great coach both on and off the field, but just major credit for this crazy turnaround. I'm looking here, and I'm just like, there's a lot of good stuff happening in App State sports this year.
So looking at the turnaround, so you do better already, and then you do amazing. That's so close to me what Kearns did with our team.
Yeah.
For our basketball team.
Yes.
It's Kearns obviously improved us already from 1 year of being, from the first year of being here. And then his second year being here, we win the Sun Belt Championship, and then we go to the big dance.
Yeah.
Obviously we dropped the play in 4 game, but it's also thinking about, what's the limit? The sky's the limit for Coach Shelley. Sky's the limit for Coach Kearns. It's what's going to happen? Obviously football's good. Obviously now wrestling, we sent 7 people to nationals. That was amazing. Our teams are getting better.
Really solid.
And the only way to go here is up.
Is up. And just, again, I cannot express enough major credit to Coach Herner for this turnaround. It's just crazy. And then, again, Kermit Smith still doing an okay job, and it's really, you look at our team, baseball, we're going to go back for a sec. Personally, again, I would give him about 2-3 more years until we really start to get concerned.
I would give him a second chance, especially because we've had a crazy year and a half of COVID. So obviously that's impacting everything. Give him a chance. Let him see. Get some more recruits in. Obviously, we're still doing better, so we're going to get better recruits. see how it changed in 1 to 2 years, then get them on the hot seat. Like,
Yeah, I completely agree.
yes, like I just want to see what happens in the next few years.
So, before we close out, do you have anything else for us?
Oh, no, I got nothing. Go App State.
Yeah, go App State. Great job to Coach Turner. You deserve so much credit.
Yes.
And also Kermit Smith as well, Just keep this season
You're
going.
still a D1 college coach.
You're still in top of your division.
Yeah,
So,
like, you're still doing amazing in your difference.
win your conference play, and we ain't going to criticize too much.
No, I'll be wearing an App State Conference Championship for baseball,
For
if you got one.
All right, guys.
I got
Well,
this one, so.
next episode, we said this last time, but then again, y'all just were crazy with this.
So there's a little question mark next to this one.
Yeah, next episode, May 2nd, question mark. We're going to talk about Appalachian Football Club as their home opener starts May 7th, but they do play, I believe, May 1st.
And we will be at the home opener, hopefully.
Hopefully, we'll see. But yeah, so next episode, May 2nd, we're going to talk about the Appalachian Football Club. We're going to break down their roster and their coach as well, see if he's on the hot seat in his first year. We expect major things from our Sasquatch buddies. But other than that, I'm Will.
I'm Bailey.
And this has been 3 to the 4th.
See you later.